Hello, all, and welcome to Movie Bears Podcast TV. I'm Brad Harris, and every couple of weeks, as our schedules allow, thank goodness we've been on kind of a regular routine lately. This is awesome. Yeah. I love it. I get together with two of my favorite people on the face of the planet to dish up some TV talk. Casey Scott, welcome to the show. Hello.
Wow, hello. What a great intro. One of your favorite people on the planet to talk about things. The feeling is mutual. The feeling is mutual. Aww. I look forward to this so much.
You're making me blush, Casey Scott, or maybe it's the Irish in me or the sunburn I got. But either way,
red is red.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And Stephen Heslin is here with us as well. Stephen, welcome.
Oh, thanks. And yeah, it's really good to be on a regular schedule and be able to chat. Like, I remember when we were, going for multiple weeks apart, it's always like, like, oh my God, I need to talk to somebody about this right now.
Yeah.
Oh, man. There was one point over the winter where, and I realized winter was like 5 weeks ago or something, but there was one point where it was like a month between episodes, and I was like going crazy.
Yeah.
And there was one summer where we were there was like, I think that was mostly my fault, where it was like the time thing wasn't working, and there weren't a lot of shows we were all watching, so it was just like, oh, this is so rough.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm glad those days, for now at least, are a thing of the past, because we have a lot to talk about. We're going to be catching up with the newest episodes of Game of Thrones, no surprise. Silicon Valley. Stephen, you can probably talk about the crazy moment you alluded to in our Facebook chat thread.
Yes.
Oh my God! Yes, now I know exactly what you were talking about.
Yes, yeah, I'm sure that will come up. But
directed by Mike Judge, and I was not surprised by that.
I was not surprised
when that popped up. I was like, oh yeah, okay.
Yep. And then we'll also be catching up with Survivor as well. So big, tall order for this week. So we're just going to go ahead and dive right in. Our discussion of Game of Thrones. Bum, 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 dun, dun. All right, so, oh my gosh, big episode, question mark, of Game of Thrones. I don't know. So let's just get this out of the way up front. If you have not seen the latest episode of Game of Thrones, we're going to be spoiling everything up through the third episode of season 6. So if you're not current, sorry about your luck. Go watch it. Come back. Whatever you need to do. But Steven, how was this episode for you? Tell us your thoughts.
Still loving the show. Don't get me wrong. It's just that I had heard the same thing, like, episode 2 was the most epic episode of the entire series, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? We all knew Jon Snow was coming back. I mean, like, seriously? Come on. And, it was just one of those things where it's like they teased it to the very last moment when he goes, like his eyes open, he takes that breath. It's like, okay, yeah, you could have done that halfway into the episode. Like, let's just keep going. I mean, I guess the only question I had was, and it's so funny because I think I'm mixing up Arrow and this show because I was like, is he gonna come back with like the bloodthirst or whatever?
Oh my God, yes, yeah. I was wondering the same thing.
And so the only thing that was nice is in episode 3, you kind of see that he came back himself. We think so far at least, like he's not a White Walker or something like that. He's basically just alive again. And I thought it was actually handled really well. They didn't spend too much time on it, and I felt like they went through some normal emotions, that you'd have if you were like dead and then alive, and
right.
And so I really kind of liked it, and then there were some repercussions to that, and we'll get into the other storylines, but just with this Jon Snow thing, he wants to sort of go after the people that killed him, and he does as his sort of final act as the Night's Watch or Lord Commander, sorry. And I think the only thing that he was torn about was basically killing this kid that was his, friend this whole time, but who tried to kill him. So
you did kill him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the deciding stab.
Yeah. So it was very emotional, and I really liked that whole thing. And then he kind of says like, "I'm out of here," and that's the only sort of big question mark cliffhanger of that episode is like, well, where's he going? What's he gonna do? And why is he in like an S&M outfit? And
that was Melisandre's decision.
Yeah.
He's like, we're gonna dress you in this from now on.
But besides that, we've got Jaime and Cersei trying to like seek revenge for their kids' deaths. You've got the king finally kind of trying to grow up and grow a pair, although being manipulated by that Sparrow guy. Which you could see a mile coming. Like that guy's way too much of a manipulator, and the kid is way too innocent. So it was just like that was child's play. And then we also saw that they're finding out who the Sons of Harpies are being paid by. So that was kind of interesting, and you're kind of laying the groundwork for what's going to go on there. And Khaleesi, getting basically stuck, and trying to exert some power, and they're like, bitch, you ain't nothing.
Right. Bleach blonde, bitch.
Yeah. So, it's like we saw you in Terminator Salvation or whatever, and you suck. Or Genesis, that was it. And so I feel like there's still just a lot of groundwork being laid. It feels like this is kind of a slow burn season. I'm eating every moment of it up. I think they're utilizing their time well. But there's not a lot of action, which I'm fine with. But it's the only action actually that was interesting was Bran seeing his father in the past and watching like a sword battle and kind of seeing how this mythical story of how he won come to life, and where he didn't really win, a friend helped him out and he took the credit for it. So
yeah. But wasn't that Jaime Lannister?
Oh, was it?
I thought it was supposed to be Jaime Lannister.
No,
Jaime.
I think that person eventually died.
Remember, the three-eyed raven was like, that man is Mira's father. Mira is the chick that's like traveling around with Bran and Hodor right now.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah, I mean that was the only action per se, but I feel like every scene they're basically keeping things concise and moving things along, but it is that chess game that they're playing where they're putting the pawns in the right place and they're moving things, and at some point the show's going to go in for the kill, but right now it's just sort of the game.
Yeah, it definitely seems like this season is really taking its time in maneuvering the pieces, so to speak. Kind of setting up the board, right?
Yeah.
We've got a lot of things going on, and I gotta say, like, I like that, but now that the prospect of maybe only a couple more seasons is hanging over our heads, I'm kind of like, let's shit or get off the pot already. Like, let's make some things happen.
Right.
Like this whole Khaleesi plotline. I love Daenerys' storyline. She's like my favorite part of Game of Thrones, aside from Tyrion. But it's kind of like, man, every single thing that happens to her takes her one step away from returning to Westeros. Like, we were complaining that she's like stuck in Marine for like the last 2 seasons, right? And we're like, yes, she can fly in a dragon now. Like, shit's gonna happen. Nope. Dragons are gone. Not only is she not in Marine anymore, well, now she's fucking in Vias Dothrak, like back where she was in season 1. And I'm kind of like, why is her story going backwards? My only thought is she gonna like maybe somehow become like Khaleesi over all of the Dothraki somehow, and like use all of them to free the slave cities again, and then I don't know what's going on with that story.
Maybe she'll marry the head call, that's there now. I don't know.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're allowed to remarry.
No, I don't think they are.
It's like they're put out to pasture, basically. It's like, oh, you're the widow. Okay, go get old and let your junk go bad over there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Let your 90-year-old vagina hang below your knees and buy a stuff rack.
Sew it up.
Right? So it just seems a little all over the place to me, too. Like, I like that we're seeing Tyrion meeting with Grey Worm and Miss Sandy, and I like to see him kind of take a leadership role, but I don't know where that storyline is going either. I mean, it seems like they're just spinning their wheels. Yes, we found out that Astapor and the other cities are funding, I guess, the Sons of the Harpy.
Right.
But, like, to what end? Like, she doesn't have an army. I mean, she has, I guess, her Unsullied, but they're not with her right now. I don't even know how many Unsullied are left at this point.
Yeah, that's the only thing that's sort of confusing.
And it also doesn't make sense that they're like the elite, they're the elite warriors of this world, and they're getting taken out by, like, I don't know, randos.
Big-breasted. Like, I guess,
what in the world is going on here? Like, it's a little much.
Yeah. I guess when you want cuddles, you let your guard down, right? Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, but like even in battle, when they're fighting in the streets of the city, it's like, come on now. Like, these people are the elite. They've been basically trained from birth to be able to take on this kind of shit. So for them to be massacred in the street during a battle, it's a tough pill to swallow. It doesn't really make any sense to me.
It might be helpful if they use swords and not pole arms when they're fighting in close combat.
That's helpful. Yeah.
Anyway, but we have a live comment from one of our friends of the show, Sam.
Ooh, Sam.
From Kansas, who says, I'm mad that they're all over the place instead of doing a few snips on each story.
They do well. I think they're doing that, but the problem is that not each snip is interesting. Like, for example, the scene with Grey Worm discovering who the Harpies were. That could have happened in episode 1 or 2. Honestly, like the scene with him walking with Tyrion didn't need to happen. It was reiterating everything we'd known already. So it's kind of like let's worry about moving the story forward in all of these stories equally, rather than being like, okay, let's show them walking and then wait 2 episodes to have that story move forward.
Right, yeah. It's a little bit of like Walking Dead syndrome, and I hate to bring that in when we're talking about Game of Thrones, but we see it happen on that show a lot, and I hope, I don't know, I hope that we maybe get away from that a little bit. Steven, you brought up the Jon Snow thing. This is the first time I've been interested in Jon Snow's story, like, ever. I will say that.
I'm still not interested, so that says something.
It's never grabbed me, and this whole resurrection thing isn't what's grabbed me either. What's gotten my interest is he's fulfilled his oath, right? He took his oath to the Night's Watch very seriously. It very specifically says, until he dies or whatever, his watch ends. Well, he's alive again. He's already died, so he's fulfilled his oath. Now, I assume he's going to go, like, take back Winterfell, is my thought. And
by himself?
Or with the wildling.
I think, he was just like mic drop, and I was like, well, wait a minute. Don't they have to elect and vote the next person? You can't just pick who you're going to give your throne to.
Well, but here's the thing. So I think what's going to happen is he's going to grab the wildlings. We know a lot of the houses of the North refuse to ally with Ramsay Bolton now, right?
Yeah.
And that was the whole reason why they needed to have a Stark. Now they've got Rickon. And I wonder if Ramsay's going to keep him around to try and get the North around him. But I think Jon could amass an army. And I think we're going to learn through Bran's visions, and again, I think we got one step closer that Jon Snow is related to Daenerys. He's like half Targaryen, which would make him a contender for the Iron Throne himself because he's related. Remember? Yeah. So I'm calling it right now. Jon Snow is going to become like the whole king of Westeros. That's what I think is going to happen.
I hope not. I'd prefer, Jon Snow's not that interesting to me. He's never been interesting to me. The women of the show has always been much more interesting to me, and I'd much rather there be a queen of Westeros. And we have a lot of really good contenders for that title.
Yeah.
So,
You know?
so Casey, are you happy then with the storylines of our female characters?
Right now, I can't honestly say I'm in love with any of the storylines or where anyone is right now. It really is a transitional period. Like I make a habit of rating every episode on IMDb that I watch, and so like the premiere was a 9 out of 10. Second one was an 8, and this one was a 7. So it's going down for me. Like it's kind of like it's kind of going down for me, and the Arya thing, it's finally snapping out of the kung fu nonsense. But it took a while to get there. I was like, we had to see her get the shit beaten out of her for 2 episodes.
Arya stuff. And
I'm just like, come on, Arya, you're better than this. Like, what are you doing? Like, what is wrong with you? And then we didn't get to see Sansa and Brienne, and I'm really, I know that it's supposed to make for good drama. I'm really tired of the show continually having the Starks be these ships passing in the night, and not. I want a Stark reunion. I don't want to have to wait until the last episode of the show for the last Stark standing to reunite. Like, I don't think that's too much to ask as a fan. We started the show with this family. I'd like to see them reunite at some point, and not just for a funeral of one of them.
Yeah.
You know. I'm not in love with any of the stories right now. I'm definitely still watching and following, but I really would love the other shoe to drop for a lot of these storylines.
Where was the was it Rickon Stark or whatever? What's his name?
Oh, Rickon.
Yeah.
Where was he?
So
he was
last
sent to that house, the Umbers, right?
Right. So last time on Game of Thrones, the thing at the beginning kind of showed us a little bit. We've started kind of fast forwarding through some of that stuff because we don't want to get spoiled. I'm like, hey, here's this reminder of 8 seasons ago. But when last we saw them, Osha, who was the girl that was with him, was taking him to this House Umber place, and they were supposedly loyal to the Starks. They were going to look after Rickon and like hide him and keep him safe. And last we saw, they were trudging through the snow in that direction. And now Shaggy Dog lies slaughtered on a table, and Rickon is in Ramsay's possession.
Maybe. I am liking the fan theories that the Umbers are psyching out the Boltons, but then it doesn't make sense. Why would he deliver the real Rickon? Why wouldn't he bring a fake one?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the thing. I don't know if it's the real Dire. I don't know. You know, fans like to reach for things, you know. But it just, the more I read about the Umbers and their family and their loyalty to the Starks and everything, it didn't make logical sense that Umber Jr. would be doing that.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense, considering that his father, I had to be reminded of this because it was seasons ago when Robb's wolf bit off like 3 of his fingers, and he was still loyal to Robb.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, okay, and now he just conveniently is dead. And you know, spoiler for the books, he's not dead in the books. Like he's off looking for Rickon, I believe. I think I'm remembering that correctly, because I was like, okay, wait, like, because I read the reviews of stuff the morning after and read user comments, and they're like, well, this doesn't make any sense clashing with the books, and once again, these people making me feel stupid for not reading the book, so I'm doing all this Wikipedia loop stuff. I'm just like, now I feel like I know a little bit more, and now I wish I had read the damn books. But,
I kind of feel like we've diverged a lot from the books. I mean, everything right now, for the most part, is off page anyway, so
yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I kind of feel like they're bringing in some things that maybe they skipped previously, but I don't feel that, like, I don't know, the douchey book reader thing, like F you douchey book readers.
Right.
You know what?
But I think they do make a good point with this whole Umber thing, where like that house has been loyal to the Starks for like forever, and for the one surviving son to like turn on a dime and ally with this Bolton bastard, essentially, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But I don't know. I mean, I didn't like the way that went down, so I guess, you know. So I like hearing when people say, like, well, it doesn't make logical sense, you know. It's a bad character choice, essentially, is what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll have to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about King's Landing, because we really haven't caught up much there. Lady Olenna is back. I loved her.
Yeah, that was so good. Yeah, I loved it when she's like, oh, Cersei's like making it all about her. It's like, I'm glad we're ready to talk about the injustice that I went through. And she's like, You're not the queen. I'm talking about Marjorie. You're not the queen. I know it's confusing with your family, but you're not the queen. And I thought that was so great. It was just like, I could see it happening in like a Golden Girls episode or something.
Totally.
It was very sitcom-y. Yeah, I could see like Blanche being like, oh, I'm so glad we're ready to talk about me. And Rose like, we're not talking about you. We're talking about... I'm talking about the queen. You're not the queen.
Or Dorothy. But,
right, Dorothy. Yeah, exactly. Right.
I'm interested to see what's going to happen with this Cersei plotline, because I almost feel like she's sort of becoming a little irrelevant in a way. Like, yeah, she's got the Mountain walking around in his zombie armor, like killing people, but like, it's been 3 episodes. Myrcella's still dead. Marjorie's still locked up. The High Sparrow's still in power. Like, she tried to sit in on the small council meeting, and they basically were all mean girls and like got up and left. So
yeah, they're like, you can't sit with us.
So like,
we're moving to another table.
Where is this going? I mean, does her storyline seem stuck in the muck to you guys, or is it just me?
It feels a little stuck. That was the only scene that I felt was sort of wasted, was that whole table scene, because it was just like, what are we gonna do? We're not gonna do anything, and they left. It's like, okay, what was the whole point of that? You know?
Right. Well, then also the thing with the guy who actually created Franken Mountain or whatever, and sending out his little children to be his henchmen or whatever, and she's like, I want children everywhere to be my eyes and ears everywhere, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. Okay, fine, sure. Let's see where this goes. You know, it does feel like it feels like a lot of these storylines are kind of like spinning their wheels in the mud. It's kind of like, okay, let's get out of here. Let's get out of this rut. Push. Right. I'll accelerate. You push. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, totally. And that's happening a lot. Like, I know we're jumping around a bit, but even like the Khaleesi Marine storyline, right? Like, Tyrion freed the dragons. Like, where are my dragons?
Yeah.
And where are they? Because they didn't leave the thing. So are they just trudging around, not in chains anymore, in the same place?
Guess. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure. So it seems like we're the show is skipping around a lot and not spending enough time in any one place, except for apparently Jon Snow and the Wall, to really give us any kind of forward momentum or traction, really, at this point.
Right.
Maybe something epic is going to happen next episode, but, I mean, we have 10 episodes. After 3, we're like, 20 minutes into next episode, we'll officially be a third of the way through the season.
Right.
So...
Well, I think something. I mean, that was something that's so exciting that happened last season was Tyrion and Daenerys like finally meeting, and they were combined. And I feel like the show should be really moving towards that and combining stories so people are working together. Which is why Jon leaving when Sansa and Brienne are coming is stupid. It's like, can we please merge stories so there's less stuff to focus on?
Wait a second. So. Think of it like a math problem. If Sansa, Brienne, and Podrick leave Winterfell heading towards the Wall, and Jon Snow leaves the Wall heading towards Winterfell, what's going to happen? Are they going to meet each other on the road?
I'm telling you right now, they're not going to meet.
Really? You think?
No, they're not going to meet.
It'll be more ships passing in the night?
More ships passing in the night because we already saw them arrive at Castle Black in the premiere for next week, and I think Jon's gone by then. I would love to be wrong, but the show loves to do this shit, and it really pisses me off. I'd love it if they didn't do it this time, but my hopes are not high, unfortunately. Yeah. Well, and what about Sam and Gilly? Like, do we give a shit about that? That was a total waste of like 6 minutes of stuff. Yeah. To somebody else.
So we give a shit in our household because Jim and I kind of think Sam is cute. So
I do too. I do too. But that was totally inconsequential.
But that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Sam. Like, good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you puking up and everything. Yeah.
Right. Which
keep on puking.
Decidedly.
It's sort of like a little bit of comic relief or something. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
I did like Tyrion trying to have a conversation with
yes.
with the two. Yes, which was great because I actually could watch a lot more of that, to be honest, but maybe as like a web series or something.
Yeah.
Not in the main body of the show.
What do you talk about? Patrol, what we did on Patrol, what we saw on Patrol.
Because they can't screw, so what else are they going to do?
Yeah.
Why don't we play a game? I
love that.
Oh, goodness.
That was good comic relief. That was funnier than the whole Sam thing, actually.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sure there's more we could talk about, but we still have 2 other shows to get to. So, are we good? Are we good with switching tracks here?
Yes.
I think so. I think.
Oh my God! Aria got her sight back. Aria got her sight back. We forgot to even mention that. Do we care?
No.
Not really.
No.
Can't
I
she
kind
just
of
go
liked her
back
as
to
a
being Aria?
blind assassin, though.
I did too. She could have been Zatoichi. It would have been great.
Yeah.
She'd have been like no one Daredevil.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know. Anyway. All right. Well, then we're gonna go ahead and switch away and talk about Silicon Valley. All right, so it's been a long time since we've officially discussed Silicon Valley on this show. So we're in season 2 now of the show, right? Is it season 2 or season 3?
Oh,
it's season 3. It's season 3. That's right. So, Casey, kick us off here. What are your initial impressions after the first couple episodes here? First few episodes.
I'm liking it. I mean, it's still really consistently strong. I still like the characters. I think it's interesting that the turns that the show takes. You know, it doesn't really function in a vacuum where it's just focusing on this group of guys who are developing this Pied Piper program, and you know they're shooting the shit with each other. It also explores the fact that it is a competitive market. So there are people that are trying to beat them to the punch with a similar platform or a similar program, and they're also having to fight with who they feel are their allies or who are supposed to be their allies in terms of who their investors are, who the people on the board are. And we saw a lot of that. Not a lot of it, but we saw a good portion of that in season 2, where they had this crazy like wunderkind investor who eventually got bought out, so he's gone. But this season they brought in Stephen Tobolowsky as their new CEO after they ousted the inventor of Pied Piper as the CEO of his own company, and he got downgraded to be a CTO. And so now there's the conflict is with the inventor of Pied Piper and the new CEO, Stephen Tobolowsky, who, he's introduced in the premiere, and it seems like it's going to be an interesting fit where he really seems to get what Pied Piper is, but because of the way the show is, that's not going to last. And so
of course,
he has the idea of what he wants Pied Piper to be, which conflicts greatly with what the whole concept initially was to begin with. And so he is coming at it from a purely salesman point of view. And so it's funny because this last episode was so great because it sets it up kind of like a Mad Men. On Mad Men in I think it was season 3, there's like this whole heist thing that goes on in the finale where they're like, okay, so we're gonna so we're kind of painted into a corner, so we're gonna completely screw over our bosses and and come out on top. And so they refer in this last episode that just aired this week as like an Ocean's 11 kind of heist where we're totally gonna screw them over or whatever. And of course, Richard, the inventor of Pied Piper, completely fucks that up. And so so it
30 seconds.
I know, and so it ends on this amazing cliffhanger. I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? The one person that should should be able to keep his shit together completely fucks up. It's just like, how are they gonna swing this? So I'm really liking it a lot. I think it's definitely grown since I liked the first season a lot. It's definitely grown. I think each season has been getting better, and I know I say that sort of preemptively considering we're only 3 episodes into season 3, but it's consistently strong. It's really funny, and I like the way the story is going. So it's good stuff.
Awesome. How about you, Steven? What are your
I
thoughts?
am absolutely loving this show. I think it is so brilliant. I keep on saying, like, I go to work and talk to people at work about it, and I'm like, I think they've got microphones in our meeting rooms or something like that, because I swear to God, half the stuff that happens on that show happens at my job.
Wow.
And even last season, there were a couple moments where I'm like, holy crap, that has happened to us. And then even this one, when at the very beginning episode where the CEO stands in front of everyone, he's like, it's really hard for me to say goodbye, especially when I'm the one saying goodbye to this whole team over here, and it's like, and everyone's like, oh my God, he's so brave for doing this thing. It's like, we had a very similar thing happen, where so it's like, it's so brilliant, and there's just so many little moments that, where like, Stephen Tobolowsky, where, he's the conjoined triangles of success, and it's just like, it's such a corporate thing to do some stupid graph and be like, this is our future, and it's like, that doesn't mean anything. Like,
exactly.
is this a like hidden camera show? And that's
they teach this in business schools now. It's like,
yeah, exactly. It's like, you can't make this up, and he's like, you just make it up though,
Right.
It's just so true to life, and then there's also just random moments like the one that we mentioned that I was like, have you guys watched the episode last night? Where Stephen Tobolowsky's character had to go to the vet, and then when Richard goes to join him, it's a horse stable, and they literally show 2 horses breeding, but it's like full-on penetration, like.
I was like, I'm watching horse porn on HBO.
Exactly. I'm like, I almost like covered my eyes. I'm like, am I allowed to watch this? Like,
yeah. I was like, I can't believe this. HBO's letting them show this.
I know. It was just so amazing, and it was just so over the top, and
it was.
I loved it. I just thought it was like they just are pulling all the punches, and
I cannot wait to hear the director's commentary on that Blu-ray when it comes out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Mike Judge directed that.
Yeah, so it's just, it keeps on getting better and better for me, and I love every direction it goes. And like you said, it's like they set it up for one thing, and then in the last 30 seconds they go left, and so it's never really consistently what you think it's going to be, and I just find it so hilarious. And I love Kamal Nanjiani. I just think he's hilarious. Every line he delivers is so pitch perfect.
And his gold chain.
Yes, the gold chain.
That even Jared is able to make fun of him for. Calls him Django.
Yeah.
Unchained. So ridiculous.
Yeah. What do you think, Brad?
I've come around a lot to this show since season 1. I hated it very much during season 1.
I remember that.
Yeah, season 2 for me, I felt like they made some improvements and I enjoyed it. I'm still liking it, but I think my problem is that they're really not making any kind of progress in 3 seasons. I mean, I guess they're funded now, but like, this platform still isn't going anywhere, right? Like, even with this whole Ocean's 11 heist thing, like, oh, cool, we're going to get this plan. I'm interested to see how this works. Oh, nope, Richard tripped. He had the paperwork with him. Now Stephen Tobolowsky's going to see it. And the question that I have, and I know that I'm not alone, because I was talking to Jim about this too, and he's in love with the show. The question is, like, when are we going to see something actually, I don't know, come to fruition with Pied Piper? When is this going to gel together? I mean, we're 2 seasons and 3 episodes in at this point, and again, it feels a little bit like the wheels are stuck in the mud. Like, yeah, we're getting some good comedy bits out of it, but if everything always kind of remains, I mean, yeah, they're in an office now as opposed to the house necessarily, but really, have they made any forward progress on Pied Piper since the events of last season?
I think they have. I mean,
really,
all 3 seasons right now, we're talking a matter of months. It hasn't even been a year yet, and so we're still really kind of early in the development of this program. This is kind of what it's like. I mean, it's like,
well, that's what I was going to say.
Do it overnight. Like, this is what happens with this stuff.
Like Oculus Rift and stuff like that. It was like years and years. Like, they announced it, and then there was all this attention, and then Facebook bought them. But it's like, it really hasn't come. It's just now kind of coming to fruition.
Yeah.
You know, but that's over like 5 years or whatever, and so I think this is very true to life, where there's a lot of momentum in vaporware for a long time, and you know, and I think they're also mirroring other things in the industry, you know, and you know, like Apple, you know, ousting their own CEO and everything, and so I kind of feel like this is actually par for the course in actual software development and everything.
And there's a ton of egos involved with this kind of thing. I mean,
well, sure, and I mean,
that really impacts a lot of this. So.
Well, absolutely, and I mean, I work for a tech company, so I get the development cycle, and I get how these things work. I think as a viewer, though, it just has me a little frustrated because I feel like, man, you know, we really haven't gotten that far away from where we started the series. So I'm hoping that over the course of this season, maybe this thing with Stephen Tobolowsky gets worked out, they get on the same page, maybe we see some kind of forward progression. But I just feel like they're going back to the same wells over and over again. Like last season it was, oh no, like Pied Piper's doing awesome, we're at a TechCrunch, blah, 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 great, Hooli lawsuit. Now we got to destroy everything. We got to work behind the scenes to try and prevent that from happening. Oh, great, that's done. We escaped that. Phew. Oh, no, Richard's been ousted as the CEO. But don't worry, guys. We're going to go like Ocean's 11 and do this like Skunkworks thing and make it better. Oh, no, Richard tripped. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Brad, you're describing a sitcom, which is what the show is. That's what this show is. It's like they're gonna basically the show is supposed to be about the journey of getting this thing to market and making the money, and if that happens in a more linear fashion, then the show is over. So like, you know, they have to keep coming across these hurdles. That's kind of what's gonna give the show its material. I get your frustration, but that's kind of just what's going to be going on the show, I think.
Yeah.
So,
if it was too easy, it wouldn't be a show. I mean,
but I've watched other sitcoms where characters grow and change over the years, and developments happen in their lives, and they have arcs. They go from one place in season 1 to a very different place by the end of season 2 or season 3. Right. So,
well, I think Mike Judge works in a little bit of a different way, because if you look at like something like Beavis and Butthead, they never had an arc, you know. So, you know, I'm not saying that this is Beavis and Butthead or anything, but I think he likes to play in that realm of like these people are eternally stuck where they are, and it looks like there's going to be progress, but they get knocked back down again, you know. And
well, I think Richard though is a way different character than he was in season 1.
That's true.
He's grown a huge pair of balls. He will stand up for what he's believing in. He's really grown over the past season. Now, unfortunately, he's running into a situation where he has the balls, but he doesn't have necessarily the communication skills to get done what he needs to get done. So that's going to be his next hurdle, is going to be dealing with that. So yeah, no, I think the lead character is Richard definitely changed over the course of 3 seasons. But like, I'm reminded of when Mike Judge did King of the Hill, and those characters really grew and fluctuated a lot over the course of like 8 or 9 seasons. And yeah, the show does feel different than that. So I definitely get what you're saying, Brad, because a lot of the characters do feel kind of like, I don't see Guilfoyle changing, for example.
Yeah,
right.
Like, I see him always being a wise ass. I don't see Ehrlich changing. I see him being like an egomaniac. But I think Richard is going to probably keep changing over the course of the seasons. But unfortunately, I don't think a lot of the other characters are. I think. It's
And
just the way it is.
I totally am on board with what you're saying, Casey, in terms of Richard growing and changing to some degree. I think what's cool about his character is even though he is maybe growing some balls, he is still sort of this awkward, nerdy guy who can't get out of his own way. So
Right.
even though we get some forward momentum, it's good to see they haven't let go of those things entirely.
Right.
But yeah, it would be cool if maybe we could see some growth from someone else too. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it is funny. It's definitely providing lots of laughs through this process. I'm just wondering how much staying power this show has. If it's not, growing and
Right.
changing. But if that's the formula and that's what's working, maybe it doesn't need to.
Yeah.
Well, no, I definitely get what you're saying because I definitely think that it's obvious that the program and the platform is growing and there's definitely more prolonged interest and is getting closer to that point. So it is moving forward. But I would echo your sentiments that if by like next season they're kind of in the same situation, then I would feel like, okay, what's the end goal here? It's kind of like, it's because in the same way that it does play by sitcom rules, it also feels like there is a goal here. It's not like standard sitcom where it's like you're just following these people and each episode is one adventure in their life. Like there's an overreaching story that we're trying to reach the end of. So I definitely would agree with you that if I'm feeling the way you are next season, then I would be worried. For sure. Yeah.
Well, I would
like to see some progress for sure.
I'm just glad it's hopefully around for another season and that we get that chance hopefully to see that, right?
Yeah. I think it was renewed.
I think I heard that too.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I think it's
maybe
doing
that
pretty
was
well.
maybe that was internet rumor. I don't know.
Maybe. I know Togetherness was canceled, but that's okay.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, no.
I liked the first season. I didn't love the second season.
Yeah.
We're midway through season 2, so no spoilers. But
no spoilers.
It's
They all
weird.
die.
They all do. Yeah, exactly. They all go. They all drive off Mulholland in a freak accident.
So Silicon Valley was renewed, by the way, as was Game of Thrones and Veep
good.
a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah, Veep's not that great this season. I'll just say that. I don't know what.
No.
I like it.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Basically,
okay.
Basically, how Brad feels about Silicon Valley is how I feel about Veep.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh God, okay, it's more of the same. Right? So I don't know.
Oh goodness! All right. Well, Steven, any other thoughts for you on Silicon Valley? We've been over talking you a lot. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'm just like all I can express is love for the show. It's my live version of Dilbert, and it's just I just think it's great, and so I'm all in. They could go downhill. I will watch this until it's done. It's sort of like Arrow for me. Like they got me hooked, and now they've completely messed up the show. But I'm still watching for some reason, thinking at one point they might get back, but they never have.
Aw.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah, I feel you. We should talk Arrow sometime, Steven.
Yeah.
Because
You can talk Arrow on here. That's fine.
We need some therapy.
man, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's disappointing to hear.
This whole thing with Laurel and oh my God, like I'm just so over this season at this point. Like,
Ouch.
But I can't stop watching. Like I have to know what happens.
Same here.
So,
I'm just curious, but at the same time, it's never been the same since I think season 2.
right,
Maybe you should give it to the finale to get its shit together, and if it doesn't, then you need to cut the cord.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's like a Band-Aid. Rip it off.
I cut the cord on Legends of Tomorrow. I'll say that. But
Oh my gosh!
Oh, did you?
I did too. I did.
Yeah.
I did.
It's
I have
incredible.
8 episodes. I have 8 episodes on my DVR that I have not even attempted
deleted.
to watch.
Just done.
Did you?
Oh. Brad, are you still going to try to hold out and watch them?
I'll probably binge watch it when the season is
Okay.
over, maybe sometime this summer when there's not much on.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I watched the first 6 episodes, 7 episodes, 8, whatever the fuck it was. And I'm like, if I'm not feeling any kind of resonance yet, like, I probably am not going to.
Yeah.
So you gave it way more than your standard 5. Like, you were
I did.
call, basically.
Yeah.
I did because I trust the creative powers behind it. Like, you know, there are lots of things about Arrow I like. Flash is one of my favorite TV shows ever now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Supergirl's kind of uneven, but I like a lot of the things they're doing. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to stick with Legends of Tomorrow and see what happens. And I stuck with it, and I'm like, why am I still watching this show?
No.
Like, after we saw the hot Russian bears in prison, like that was like the like climax of my interest in the show, and they're gone
literally.
Now, so. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Anyway, so yeah. Well, guys, believe it or not, we're an hour in, and we still have another show to discuss. So, are we good with switching tracks? Yeah.
I think so. We can speed through Survivor. There's not much to discuss. But.
All right. We're officially then changing topics. This is your fair warning. Here we go. Our discussion of Survivor. All right. So, Steven, how are you feeling about the latest developments on whatever the hell the tribe name is? Is it Dara or something?
Oh,
I think it's Dara. They didn't even make like a big deal about the new name. I only knew when they flashed it on the screen.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it was interesting. It was kind of funny. I kind of turned my feelings on Ty. For the longest time, I'm like, I want Ty to win. And now I'm kind of like, I'm over Ty. You know, he's I think gotten a little too big for his britches, and he's just gotten annoying lately. And you know, at the same time, you know, when he had the idol and the thing, and he won him, you know, like I just kind of felt like I don't like anything to be guaranteed, and at this point, he's basically guaranteed to be in the final three,
right?
Or at least the final four. Maybe not the final three, but you know, he used his advantage this last time, which I thought was brilliant on Aubrey's part because she convinced him to use the advantage, but she got a different person out than he wanted. You know, because it didn't make sense, you know, what he wanted and everything. So I thought that was kind of interesting, but Kyle's gone, so no more eye candy. Who? Wait, was Kyle the last one to leave?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So no more eye candy, and you know the people left. Out of the people left, I think I'm still kind of leaning towards Aubrey as my favorite. I think she's played the best game. She's a really, you know, for someone who doesn't look athletic, she's a really tough opponent in a lot of the physical challenges. Even though she hasn't really won, she tries harder than just about anyone. And then, oh, it's funny, Brad, you're on the same page I am. I was looking at that. I saw your little face pop up. I'm like,
oh, yeah.
You're looking at the our
tracking spreadsheet.
And it was weird. It was in the background. All of a sudden, his face popped up. I'm like, what is that? But, you know, I think she's a really good physical challenger, and she's so good at manipulating things behind the scenes, and I think she's a really formidable opponent. And the only one that I think is hilarious is Joe. It's like, what the fuck are you still doing there?
He's Aubrey's shield, essentially.
I know, but it's like everyone knows. Like, does he know he doesn't have a chance? Like, he's just a goat to bring along?
I think so.
Does he think he actually is doing something?
I don't know. We'll never know because they never ever include interviews with him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And if they do, they're completely unimportant. It's a total waste of screen time. Yeah. They include him because they kind of have to because there's only like 5 people left. So.
But so yeah, I think Michelle's gonna go next. Then probably. Yeah, I just think she's sort of expendable, and Ty's not going home. He's gonna play as idol. It just depends on who gets the immunity next time, but
if it's Michelle, then
if it's Michelle, that'll kind of throw things into a loop. But I don't think Sydney's going home right away. But I don't know. She's formidable too.
Yeah.
So is this week the finale? Because we've only got 5 left.
No,
right?
there's this
Or do we have
week and
6?
then next week is the finale. Right now we have 5.
That's right. Okay.
And it's probably going to be a final 2, not a
But
final.
sometimes they do a double episode, don't they? Did they announce?
See, that's what I thought.
They're doing a 2-hour finale.
Which is
I
the
think
final
they're doing a
episode
2-hour
and the live
finale.
event.
I think.
Yeah.
It's only 2 weeks left, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Okay,
this,
gotcha.
and this week we could have a medical evac and then a vote out.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Joe could get kicked. Joe could get evicted, or people are theorizing maybe Aubrey gets kicked out.
Oh, that would suck.
It would really suck. But
But yeah, I think it's been a good season. Not my favorite, but it's been a really good season.
it's a really it's a super strong all new player season.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, there's definitely been some standout characters that I could see coming back in a fan favorite sort of
The
thing.
only red shirt I think really was there were 2 red shirts. I would say Darnell and Joe. Darnell was first voted out, but everyone else really kind of was fighting to be there. They were scheming and scrambling, and even Alicia.
Right.
Yeah, they really were all in it to win it, and that's that's major because a lot of seasons have just people that were cast through casting. They didn't even want to be on Survivor. They're just like, let's be in a reality show. Okay, here you go, put you on Survivor.
Yeah.
That's how we got Nayanka.
Oh, goody.
Purple Kelly, yeah, on that shitty season.
So Casey, how are things going for you? Are you pleased with the direction it's taking, or?
I'm liking it. I definitely think Aubrey is my favorite still. I think she completely misstepped the week before last when Ty was like, should I play my idol? And she said,
I know.
You need to do what makes you feel comfortable. I was like, no, bitch. You say, I think you probably should just to be safe. And then have him play it. And then the idol's flushed. All he has is the advantage. That was a misstep.
Yeah,
that was a misstep. Because there's no way that could have completely bounced off her when they come back to camp. He couldn't have been mad at her because she didn't say play it. She just said, I think maybe you should just to be safe. But
yeah. Right.
Yeah, but I think she could have deflected that.
I agree that it was a misstep in the grand scheme of things, but I think she was thinking of trust building, and she didn't.
Right.
I don't think she realized he had the advantage and the idol for some reason. Because when he was saying something about the advantage, and saying what it was, they seemed shocked. So I don't.
They didn't know what the advantage was. They knew he had.
They knew he had the advantage. They just didn't know what it was.
He bought it at the auction, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they thought
he didn't know. He wanted an immunity. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He won it. Yeah.
Or wanted a reward challenge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, Steven. I'm really soured on Ty. I was talking to Will about this today. I was like, I don't really even care to see him play again. I'm like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
He reminds me a lot of like. He's like if Rupert and Yao Man had a baby and showed up on this show and is loved by America, but is also not a very good strategist. he finds idols, which is great, but then he's not a very good strategist. I could not believe that he actually questioned why Michelle was in the alliance she was in when she was in that alliance before he was even in that alliance.
Oh man.
I was just like, are you serious, dude? You're the new person in this alliance.
You know what?
She's been in this alliance forever. What are you talking about?
You know what my theory was? When they won the challenge, did you see how much Ty was kissing Kyle? Like, on the face, on the arms.
Yes.
Like, I think he had a little thing for him. And so I think he wanted to keep Kyle around. And so he's like, oh, no, Michelle's got to go. Michelle's got to go.
Right. Well, yeah. Right. I mean, that's why I couldn't get... it's shocking that he decided to get rid of the giant package of Scott Pollard as well. He's like, well, at least I got Jason, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I think Ty is kind of... I'm soured on him. You know. And,
yeah, I mean, he's making a lot of moves that just are not helping him.
No.
You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate because I think that he's got a great personality. He's got potential for having people on his side, but it's funny, for all he talks about like flowing with the wind, like petals in the breeze or whatever he was saying, he's awfully rigid when it comes to plans that are forming and what needs to happen. Like
Right.
sometimes you've got to go with the flow and gently redirect things a little bit.
Right.
But he's like trying to stand right in the path of the oncoming cart, and
Right.
he's just getting run over. So
well, if you compare his gameplay to like Aubrey, where Aubrey was able to massage Ty's ego and make it seem like he had all the power and it was his decision to make, and then he did it because that's how good she is at this game, and he's not.
Right.
He's like, well, I have the idol and the advantage, so here's what's happening. We're voting out Michelle.
Right.
I was like, no, that's not what's happening.
Yeah.
No, this is we're in alliance. This is a conversation.
Right. It's a conversation.
Not a dictatorship. Yeah, you don't tell me who I'm voting for. You're not Tony. Like,
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
You're definitely not Tony. So, so let's not even try to be that.
So, Casey, I want to ask, because you mentioned before we started recording that there's this whole discussion going on of, like, you know, the winner's edit. Did you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, more power to people who are able to read into this edit and kind of predict who's going to vote, though I will say that I think it's a 50% of these predictions turn out to be wrong, because people said that Nick was getting the winner's edit, and they said Debbie was getting the winner's edit, and they've said all these, and it's like, and where are they now? They're gone. So, you know, I think I don't think at this point it's possible for there to be a winner's edit. I think Stephen Fishback says it well when he says there is a finalist edit, which means that if the person is getting more screen time and their narrative is being built up by the editors,
block.
Well, they're either on the chopping block or they're being built up so the audience identifies with them and realizes that they're someone to potentially root for in a final 2 or final 3 situation.
Yeah.
So people are saying because Michelle's getting a lot of airtime that she's going to win, and I'm not seeing that. I'm thinking she's either a finalist or, you know what, they're down to 6 people. They need to fill airtime with
Exactly,
and she's one of the people. And
honestly, I didn't even know
so of course she's going to get airtime.
I didn't know Michelle's name up until like 2 weeks ago. Like she was, they barely focused on her up until 2 weeks ago. So, and I think you're exactly right, Casey, that they're down to 6 people, so they got to fill time.
Right, and Joe's not talking, so they got to fill. You know, it can't be all Aubrey and all Jason, and even Sydney's not that talkative either. So it's like they need to fill time, and Michelle's they have all this footage of Michelle in the can. Why wouldn't they use it? So it's kind of exhausting for people to be like, well, based on the edit, I think Michelle's gonna win. It's like, well, you don't know who's gonna win. You don't know what happens at the final tribal council. If she has no argument and she's going, well, maybe if she's going up against Joe, I could see her winning. But even Ty's made some not great moves, but he's made more moves than Michelle has made. Yeah. Michelle hasn't made any moves, really. What she has on her side is that she's not really hated by anybody. Even Julia, who she voted out, is probably going to vote for her if she gets to final 2 or final 3. And I can see why I can understand why people would like to do this. It's like a sporting event where you're kind of predicting, like, well, based on this guy's stats or this guy's, you know, how they've been doing in this game and what we've seen and everything, they're going to win. Like, I get why that's fun for people, but that's not fun for me. And I usually can find a lot of reasons why I don't feel it to be the case. Like, I can argue back and say, well, here's why I don't think you're right, in like a good-natured debate, you know. Yeah. I mean, if Michelle wins, that's great. Then that means that there are some very keen-eyed viewers who are identifying this. But I don't think the editors even know who the winner is. But they know who the final 2 are. So I think it'd be a good indicator of who the finalists are, but not who the winner is. I think that's the thing you need to keep in mind. So
what's interesting? And Stephen, you caught me looking at the sheet earlier. We've got Sydney, Michelle, Ty, Aubrey, and Joe. So that's 5 people left. And isn't the 2-hour finale usually with 5 people?
No,
it's with 3.
4.
Right? 4 to 3.
No, well,
is it 4?
Well, so we're gonna lose one this week, so that goes down to 4. And then you usually lose 2 people in the finale. Like last season, we lost Kimmy. And actually, last season we lost Kimmy, Kelly, and Keith in the finale. So I'm not sure how this is going to play out, actually.
So it's usually a final. See, I thought, and I could be wrong, but I thought the final episode the last few years has been 5 people. You lose 2, and then you're down to a final 3 for that last tribal council.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but with the way this is going to work,
it's a final 2. Honestly, I really don't like final 3s.
Really.
There's always a
final 3 for a long time.
There's always a third person that that nobody cares about. Like Tasha last season, nobody was going to give her $1 million. There was no reason for her to be up there. It was ridiculous. Yeah. So final 3s usually suck, in my opinion.
Well, we'll have to see what happens, I suppose. So we'll get the next episode tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Well, relative to when we're recording. If you're listening to this on Friday or something, it will have already happened, and it might be moot anyway. But we'll have to see.
Yeah. I'm excited. I really have loved this season. I think it's been consistently strong. There have been very few weak episodes. I think there's been maybe 2 weak episodes. So that's a pretty good track record.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of crazy. Like, the last thing I want to say on this is just we had like 8 people hanging out with us for Game of Thrones in Silicon Valley, and like now we have 1 person during our Survivor discussion.
What?
They all bled away. Like
that's terrible. It's so good this season,
right? Isn't that sad? Like,
come on.
I don't know.
Is it because it's Wednesday night?
I think it's just Survivor's been on for 20 years almost.
Yeah, but it keeps it like it still is so interesting though. Because it's always different. It's always different because of the people that are playing. That's what makes it interesting.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is like we were at FurFest in Phoenix, a bear event, a couple weeks ago, and we were just talking about like, some of our favorite TV shows. And I'm like, in this group of guys, we're all like hugging in a circle in the pool, talking about TV, and I bring up the fact that I like Survivor. And people are like pulling away from me in the circle, and they're like, "You watch Survivor?
God.
You watch Survivor? Is that even still on? Do people watch that?" And I'm like, "Bring back the bear cuddles! Like I can cuddle and watch Survivor. Like what's wrong with that? So I don't know. Maybe a lot of people are over it, but I mean it's been renewed for like 3 more seasons at this point.
Yeah.
So
I think people who judge it haven't watched it lately. I think a lot of people are judging it based on 10, 15 years ago or whatever.
Right. I think they probably haven't watched it since Rupert.
Yeah.
So like 12 seasons ago, so probably 6 years ago was maybe the last time anyone watched it. That was Heroes versus Villains.
Right. Which is kind of crazy when you think about it. If you're like, oh, they haven't watched it in 12 years, so what do they know? Like, can you believe Survivor has been on as long as it has?
I know. Well, it did go through a rough patch, and it went through a recent rough patch. I mean, One World sucked.
Right.
There have been a lot of bad seasons in the past few years, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But,
It's been pretty good the last 4. Yeah.
It has it has ebbs and flows, but it definitely it's right now. I think it's on an upswing. So
I agree. Yeah. I agree. Well, guys, let's go ahead and look to wrap up with some plugs. Casey, what have you got this week?
First I guess I should say, and it's funny because like as far as Survivor goes, that I was not watching Survivor this time last year. And
right, totally.
And now I'm like, I've watched all of these seasons all the way through. I'm like, I know the winners. I have favorite players. I have favorite winners. There have very few seasons I haven't watched yet. And on the off season, I'm gonna finish, so I'll be all caught up on everything. And I love it. I get defensive when people are like, "What, this show?" And I'm like, "Listen, I was where you are. Just shut the hell up and give it a chance, okay? It's on. There's all these seasons on Hulu. Go watch it. You're not gonna be disappointed unless you watch Nicaragua or something. You're not gonna like it. But there are some seasons you shouldn't watch, like that in Redemption Island. But
right.
Yeah. What am I plugging this week? Oh, Grace and Frankie. Which I'm gonna tell you, I'm plugging it but hesitantly. I've watched 3 episodes in. It's kind of like last season where the first episode was weak.
Yeah.
And it's gotten progressively better with each episode, but it's still like the title characters are kind of the least interesting characters on the whole show.
Yeah.
Wow.
And because all of their kids are way more interesting and more fun to spend time with. But I'll watch anything with Lily Tomlin because she's my star sign twin. We both have the same birthday.
Nice.
And so I'll watch anything she's in and support everything she does. But I'm not loving it. I wish the writing was stronger. I wish I wish it didn't feel like. A lot of the acting feels like it's like the first read through, like the first table read. Like they don't have a firm grasp on how they're supposed to be performing this, and the direction is not strong enough to guide them back to it being consistently strong. But I would still say watch it, just to reach your own conclusions about it. So yeah. I think for some reason it has a built-in appeal to gay men. So I imagine a lot of gay men are going to watch it anyway because it's Jane and Lily and their gay ex-husbands. But
All right. Yeah. Well, we're definitely. I mean, we were really excited to check it out. Now I'm kind of like,
I'll check it out, but
I mean, keep it on your queue, but don't it's not.
I still have to finish Kimmy Schmidt.
Well, Kimmy Schmidt, definitely watch that because the second season. Yeah, I've already watched the second season like 3 times. So that's what I spend all my time watching is Kimmy Schmidt over and over.
Yeah. All right. Well, Grace and Frankie. For me this week, I actually have 2 quick plugs. One of them is it's Game of Thrones related. I don't know if you guys watch a lot of the Funny or Die stuff.
Yes.
They have this thing they do every week called Gay of Thrones.
Yes. Brilliant.
And it's like this gay hairdresser like talking to a patron, like reviewing the episode. And my favorite thing is like the names that they come up with. Everyone.
Yes.
They call Daenerys like Christina Aguilera, and Bran is Miss Cleo, and it's fucking hilarious. Oh my gosh, I love it. Good. So totally check out Game of Thrones. I think they have the best like review content ever, and it's all satire, but it's good. And then the other thing that I just want to plug real quick is this week's Movie Bears podcast because we reviewed Captain America's Civil War. Pretty great discussion we had this week. So by the time you're listening to this episode in iTunes, that episode will be available as well. So definitely go check it out. Steven, what have you got this week?
This week I'm going to do a little personal plug. I'm going to plug my services.
Oh my goodness! Yes, sir.
Yes. Ready to serve. My website hustlincinematic.com, which I've been building. It's I've been doing freelance work for a long time, and I also have other corporate work and everything, but I'm trying to sort of beef up a lot of my freelance business, and so I've been getting a lot more of it lately, which is keeping me very busy into the wee hours of the night. And but it's actually been really good, and I've been very happy and excited to kind of branch out and do different things. So if anyone is in the Southern California area and needs any videography or editing services, or if it's just editing, it could be all over the world, transfer stuff online. HeslinCinematic.com.
Wow.
Steven, I got to ask you, have you started using your drone for film projects yet?
I have on 2 of them.
Wow.
And it's turned out very, very well. It's actually gotten me some other jobs because they're like, oh, I need some drone footage and stuff like that. So I'm still very shaky with it, but I'm able to get 3 or 4 usable shots. But there's a lot of there's a lot of like trying to get it in the right position, and then remembering which joystick is which and which one does what, and but it's and on top of it, just recently I was trying to get I've been doing a lot of real estate videography lately. Which has been turning into a lot of work, and there was one I was doing recently, and it was kind of a windy day, and even though I was trying to like get this shot where I was trying to be a little bit more still, like it kept on moving. I'm like, hey, stop it!
Oh yeah.
It got kind of crazy, but
yeah. It's so funny that you mentioned that because like we have a DJI Phantom as well, and a friend found out because we put like a YouTube video of some footage up. and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we're getting married later this summer. Can you like come get drone shots of like the bride walking down the aisle?"
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think you actually want this drone that could chop someone's like ear off, like hovering over the bride. Like that would be, I don't know. I'm not skilled enough to do that.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Well, and that's the thing is like I've got a little gimbal, the DJI Osmo, which is a little handheld one, but it uses basically the drone the camera, but it's handheld, and you can kind of walk in front of somebody, but it looks like drone footage and everything. So
sounds like you need a pilot's license for this thing.
You do. You actually have to register with FAA, which I had to do for $5. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's
Steven,
wild.
Steven, have you registered with the American? What is it? The AMA, the Association of Model Aeronautics?
No, just the FAA.
If you haven't done that yet, if you register with them, it's like $80, but you get like $1.4 million in like incidental like damage liability coverage.
Oh.
So if you're filming at a public location and I don't know, you maim somebody, you have like, coverage insurance. So
all right, that's good to know. I might look
put that on your radar. Yeah, it's worth it. All right.
I might have to talk to you, Stephen, about who does your website actually, because I'm thinking of launching some content of my own.
I built it myself, so I can help you with that.
Wow. Yes. Okay, good. Would you give me a good rate?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, good.
Friends and family, right?
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'll have to talk to you when I get some solid plans down.
Sure.
It's the friend service discount.
I'm here to serve.
It is known.
Oh no.
All right, everyone. Well, we will see you all in a couple of weeks. Take care. Have fun. Say it, Casey.
Enjoy TV.
Yes.
Mufasa.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.